America. Tonight we're going to set the record straight on, well, just kind of scratching the surface of the civil rights movement. What is it? What was it? What is it really all about? Versus what progressives and radicals now want you to think it was all about. Individual rights. Individual rights. You have a right to be free. You have a right to live your life. You have a right to not be harassed. You have a right to your life and your liberty and your pursuit of happiness. That's what this country has always been about, but it has always been flawed, and we've never quite achieved it. Before we start going backwards, let's take a look at it again, what we're striving for. Let me show you how the movement in the 1960s has been perverted and distorted. You've got folks now like the Reverend Al Sharpton telling people that Martin Luther King's dream was really about redistribution of wealth. Here he is.
Someone was saying to me the other day, Reverend Sharpton, we got an African-American president, we've achieved the dream of Dr. King. And I told him that was not Dr. King's dream. It's a great thing. I'm working with the president and supporting the president. But the dream was not to put one black family in the White House. The dream was to make everything equal in everybody's house.
I don't remember that. Really? We also have the NAACP now telling everyone that King was a socialist. He said, the NAACP came out, I don't know, this is about 6 months ago, saying that we wouldn't be celebrating Martin Luther King Day if we really knew who he was. Well, wait a minute, hang on just a second. Help clear this up. Listen closely to what the chairman of the NAACP recently said.
We don't remember the King who was the critic of capitalism, who said to Charles Fager when they were in jail together in Selma in 1965 that he thought a modified form of socialism would be the best system for the United States. We don't remember the Martin Luther King who talked ceaselessly about taking care of the masses and not just dealing with the people at the top of the ladder. So we've anesthetized him. We've made him into a different kind of person than he actually was in life. And it may be that that's one reason he's so celebrated today, because we celebrate a different kind of man than really existed. But he was a bit more radical, not terribly radical, but a bit more radical than we make him out to be today.
Hey, is that true? Was he a socialist? Was he a communist? Who was the guy? Now we have King starting to be painted as a radical. You know what? King was a radical. And just as Jesus was a radical. Now we have SEIU, Andy Stern. Andy Stern doesn't think that Martin Luther King, the civil rights legend, really was the one that really helped create real change. In 2004, he told the Washington Post, quote, "Pressure is needed to bring about real change. It was not enough to have Martin Luther King Jr. You needed Stokely Carmichael." Okay, so he's saying now that Martin Luther King couldn't have accomplished what he did without people like Stokely Carmichael, who was the honorary prime minister of the Black Panther Party. So we have the Black Panthers being really responsible for real change. They got it done, according to Andy Stern, because of civil unrest. Carmichael was known for coining the term black power. So Stern thinks you need civil unrest to meet demands. Okay, who else is trying to raise the threat of disruption to have the demands met now? Oh yeah, that's right. The new Black Panthers. The new Black Panthers.
We'll see Glenn Beck on August 27th on the National Monument. The new Black Panther Party will see him there since he's attacking us nightly, and he won't talk to us. We'll see him on the National Monument in the National Mall.
Okay, it's the 28th, August 28th. I invite him to join us peacefully, arm in arm, as we stand up together against racism of all kinds. Racism is being used as a tactic for political gain. The NAACP is now trying to intimidate Tea Partiers, passing a resolution to condemn, quote, the racist elements in the party. Look, I have to tell you something. Racism is real. Why are we minimizing it? Why are we using it for politics? Why? Racism is real. Are there people that hate blacks or Jews or whites or Asians in the Tea Party? Sure. Are there people in the NAACP? Sure. Shouldn't we stand shoulder to shoulder against those people? Don't we have that in common? Isn't that the majority of America? Racism is not a white man's problem. It is not a black man's problem. It is not a Hispanic problem. Racism is a human problem. It is a problem that humans have had since the beginning of time. I don't know when man decided that they could pit each other against each other to rule. It's wrong when any class, it is wrong when any color does it. Martin Luther King tried to get people to unite. Isn't that what we should be striving for? What do we unite on? We don't unite on color of skin because it's meaningless. We unite on character. It is our responsibility to protect the rights granted by God that, quite frankly, the founders fought for. Did they screw it up? Did they have it right? No. Has any man ever had it right? It's the same rights that Abraham Lincoln and blacks and whites fought for in the Civil War. Those are the same rights that King fought for. Tonight we're going to talk about those rights, individual rights. And I'm also going to ask some tough questions about Dr. Martin Luther King with just one of the most wonderful people I know, Dr. Alveda King. She is the pastoral associate at Priests for Life. She is a niece of Dr. Martin Luther King. She was there. Daughter of King's brother, A.D. King. And Stephen Broden, he is a senior pastor at Fair Park Bible Fellowship in Dallas, Texas. He's also running for Congress in Texas. First of all, did I get any of that wrong, Dr. King? Or
everything is right.
Dr. Broden?
You got it right, except for Dr. Broden. I'm just a humble servant.
Okay. Well, I'm a doctor, of course.
That's right.
Yeah,
and
really.
We're at your university, so we're privileged.
Yeah, right. I know. It drives them nuts. Let me start with where we started with in the monologue. Did the Black Panthers make the civil rights? Was that a positive force? Did that make the civil rights movement with Dr. King? Did that make that work?
What happened with the Black Panthers then and now, Glenn, there are issues about justice and equality. Of course, everybody wants that, and everyone should have that. But my uncle talked about love conquering hate. He spoke of the unity that you talk about all the time. He talked about Protestants and Catholics and Gentiles and Jews, black men and white men joining together. You're not going to be able to join together if you're trying to kill each other.
Right.
And so the violence and the murder and the rage will never bring about the resolutions that we need. Only unity can do that, and my uncle taught that.
Was he a communist?
My uncle was a Christian. Certainly the values that the Communist Party on paper talked about, or the Socialist Party, it sounded really good on paper. But my uncle was not guided by those principles nor standards. When he talked about taking care of the masses, feeding the hungry, taking care of the least of these, that was from a foundation following Jesus Christ.
That's not
those
social
political
justice.
parties. No.
Right, that's not social justice. And I guess the last question is, Al Sharpton said that Martin Luther King's dream was, well, he put it, not a black man in the White House, and that's true. I mean, that wasn't his dream either. But he said that wasn't his dream. His dream was about equal stuff in everybody's house. Is that even possible that was a dream?
That is not the dream. And I ask people like Al Sharpton or Julian Bond or anybody that was saying that they knew what Dr. King's dream was, I just asked them to go back and visit it. My uncle wanted justice to roll down like water and righteousness as a mighty stream. And so that's totally different from economic justice and making sure that I have enough money and you give me your money. That's not what my uncle taught. That's not what he believed. As a matter of fact, he was a generous and giving man. And so he would have wanted equality. He would have wanted everyone to have enough to eat and somewhere to live. Of course, that's normal and real, but it's back to the principles of the least of these, caring for everyone. Everyone is our brother, one human race, out of Acts 17, one blood. So we're treating each other with dignity. It's a human issue, as you say. It's not about race or skin color. That's so irrelevant. Our skin color is important because that's how we're born, but that's not what we're fighting for. We're fighting for unity, for love, and for justice, and that's what my uncle was about.